Jeff Lang, often described as one of Australia's male guitarists, released a number of live and studio recording, including No Point Slowing Down and Disturbed Folk Volume 2. So why was this singer-songwriter replaced? When was he replaced, and who was his replacement? Evidence of the date of Lang's replacement, or Replace Lang as it is more widely known, can be found on Alison Ferrier's 2015 album. The album's title, Be Here Now, gives the first clue that Lang was replaced. The 8th track of the album has a running time of 3 minutes 34 seconds, or the 3rd of March 2014, the day Replace Lang occurred. The title of this 8th track on the album is, On This Day. Alison Ferrier herself was replaced midway through the 9th track of the album. But why was it necessary to implement Replace Lang, and who was the replacement? The possible replacements for Lang included the accomplished musician Billy Shears, who had a successful career as Paul McCartney's replacement, and even received a knighthood for it. But he made himself unavailable for the task because he was in the middle of the Out There tour and otherwise engaged being Paul McCartney. Clues can be found on Lang's replacement on his 2014 album, I Live in My Head a Lot These Days, which was released just months after Replace Lang occurred. Songs such as Watch Me Go, This City's Not Your Hometown Anymore, and I Want to Run But My Legs Won't Stand, are all clear indications of Replace Lang, while the rest of the album leaves us in no doubt as to who the replacement, or FEF, was. Standing on the shore, Pull of the Drift, and Waiting for the Headlights Through the Blinds, lead us to the conclusion that Lang's replacement was former Prime Minister Harold Holt, who went missing off the coast near Portsea 1 year and 1 month after the death of Paul McCartney. Holt vanished without a trace, with the official report stated that there has been no indication that the disappearance of the late Mr. Holt was anything other than accidental. But the body was never recovered, leading to speculation that Holt was taken by a Soviet submarine, a theory that is backed up with the songs Petra Goes to the Movies and This City's Not Your Hometown Anymore. Petra Goes to the Movies is an anagram of Soviet Get Portsea Home, and This City's Not Your Hometown Anymore is an anagram of McEwen on his tiny rust motor yo-yo hat, a clear reference to John McEwen, who took over as caretaker Prime Minister after Holt's disappearance, and the yo-yo craze that swept the globe in the 1960s. The track, The Promise of New Year's Eve, is yet another clue to the date of Replace Lang. Holt disappeared just 2 weeks before New Year's Eve. Another track on the album My Darling Girl Don't Change gives us further clues into Ferrier's replacement, or Ferment as it is known. After Perestroika and the end of the Cold War, the Soviet Union disintegrated. Holt fell out of favor with then-President Boris Yeltsin and became an outsider to the Kremlin. He returned to Portsea, where he worked in a fish and chip shop from 1992. He was taught to play guitar and became quite proficient at it. But there was another twist. In 2013, a little over 56 years after Paul McCartney's death, frustrated with the lack of discipline with Australian musicians, the then Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered the immediate replacement of Jeff Lang. The KGB needed someone who could go through undetected. An Australian who could talk the local lingo, play music, and who had ties to the Kremlin. Putin thought it was time to bury the hatchet, and Holt was deployed as a KGB operative, where he took the position of Jeff Lang. To the astonishment of Putin and others in the Kremlin, Holt was unperturbed by the task at hand, and was 12% better than the original Lang. Holt is no longer a double agent. He now enjoys a quieter life, recording and playing music, far from the reach of the Kremlin. After all, he fulfilled his duties, and their secrets remain safe. For now.